एवरीवन, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। आई नो दैट आप लोग बहुत सारे लोग कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि ये शो उर्दू और हैदराबादी में क्यों नहीं हो रहा है, इन इंग्लिश में हो रहा। एज मच एज वी लव टॉकिंग इन उर्दू एंड हैदराबादी, समटाइम्स बहुत सारे लोगों के लिए कंफर्टेबल नहीं रहता, तो हम लोग जिधर जिधर ऐड कर सकते, वी आर ट्राइंग टू ऐड हिंदी एंड उर्दू, और जितना हम लोग उर्दू और हिंदी और हैदराबादी में बात कर सकते करना ट्राई कर रहे, बट एक्सक्यूज अस, we are also trying to reach a bigger audience, which is why we are using this language. I hope you really enjoy the show and you enjoy the stories of all the people that we are bringing in, because that's the reason we are doing this show. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Apne Logaan with Anam. Today I have not one, not two, three really special guests with me. I know I say this every single time I start my episode, but अपने लोगा मेरे लिए इतना स्पेशल है, और आज आई हैव विथ मी डॉक्टर प्रणति, हु इज़ माई गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट. शी इज़ हैड एन एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट 36 years in the field of medicine, and she is the one who's looking at me as well. So Dr. Pranathi, thank you so much for taking the time out and coming. I also have another couple with me, who the husband is actually a really good friend of mine for many years now. He's the MD of Neeru's, and he's taken Neeru's to another level in Hyderabad. And his wife Pria, who also happens to be a really good friend of mine, she is the design head of Neeru's, and they have just turned into parents over the lockdown. So thank you, Pria and Avnish, for coming over. Doctor, before we start, I just want to ask you, why did you choose this profession, and how did becoming a doctor happen to you?
So basically my biggest inspiration to become a doctor, I think, was my mom.
Yeah.
My mother's a physician. She actually used to work for a coal mining company, Singareni Collieries.
Oh.
And at that point of time in the 60s, she was, the only woman over there, and I could see how rewarding the profession was. She used to look after a lot of patients and a lot of people from, disabled backgrounds and not a very affordable section of the community. And she put her heart and soul into it. And I could see how much difference it made, in that small town. Wherever we went, there was somebody to kind of look after us. Even if we went into a cinema theater, there were people who would find good seats for us, and little things. And people, when they came back to see her, not many of them could afford to pay money to her. I remember so well, some of them would cook a chicken curry and bring. So it just, that whole profession seemed inspiring to me. It was like leaving footprints on people's hearts.
Yeah.
So she was my first inspiration to become a doctor. And she's a physician. I became an obstetrician because I think in medicine, if there's one field which is a happy field, which doesn't really deal with disease or sadness, it's delivering babies.
Yeah.
And I just love it for that reason, because I deal with people who want to have what they have. People don't want to have cancer, they don't want to have heart disease, but the girls who come to me, they want to be pregnant.
Yeah.
They're happy being pregnant, and they're happier when they leave the hospital.
Yeah.
So I think these are my main reasons.
That's beautiful. So Avnish and Priya, I know both of you turned into parents over the lockdown. I know your beautiful daughter Nurvi is 2 years old now. Tell us a little about parenthood and all of what that journey has been like.
Starting from being pregnant, my pregnancy was kind of divided into two halves, because I think 6 months into my pregnancy, rest of the last trimester was complete lockdown. There was another level of paranoia around people, and everybody was super paranoid. But before that, I had a lot of fun, and I think thanks to her and him for being my two pillars of support in the entire situation, because I was in that state. I was a new, first time mother, so I was very sick, very off and on sick, throwing up, nausea, and so much was happening. But I think her words and his strength back at home was just the best push. I would go to work very often, and that was the best diversion I could have, and she was the best support I could have. And she's one of the most patient and one of the most open to listening kind of doctor I've met, because I'm sure she meets, you know, about 100 mothers in a day, and they have that same list of questions, you know, like this is that, ye kaise hoga, and she is so patiently sits there and smiles at you and listens to you. I think that's the best part.
I think that keeps our heart warm when we walk into your, you know,
Yes,
your office.
true that.
We kind of feel like,
Yes.
okay, fine, we are in safe hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Avnish, you tell us, what was it like, you know, being a father? What were your struggles? I know that I always keep joking around with Asad that, you know, for you, what is there? For me, I had to keep the baby in my tummy for 9 months. I always say that to him. So tell me, what are your struggles like? Because I know I joke around with Asad, but it can't be easy being a dad and, you know, turning from a man to a father. So tell us about that journey.
So firstly, record that bit when she said I was pillar of strength. I would keep that for lifetime and play that again and again as a Monday routine.
Well, it's good that we have it on camera.
You're right. Like, but I think it's always a beautiful feeling. It's always a couple thing. It's never a one person journey when you're into parenthood, because the day you decide you want to become parents, the day you decide that you want to have a child, it's always mutual, and it's always two-way road. It's never a one-way highway. And to be having our own child, I think we had so many gyan from entire family and, you know, things like that. You go through so many things as a pressure, you know, and it's a Indian nature. It's nothing that it's exclusive to you and me. ये एक Indian चीज़ है, और हैदराबादी चीज़ भी बहुत होती है, because end of the day, you know, there is a whole family that's behind you, because India is all about having your one family together. But I think it's eventually when you go back to your bedroom, it's a conversation between a husband and wife. And that's the most beautiful thing. The day you decide till the day you deliver. I think the first day and the last day at Rainbow, I remember when Dr. Pranathi was there, and the moment when she arrived, and I was told that, you know, Avnish, you have a pretty baby girl, is what she said that moment, and I think that blew me away. I can still have tears in my eyes if I think about all of that, because it's a different feeling that now we are parents, and a small, you know, just few kgs of a baby coming out, and you know, it's your production, this is what you made. You know, we do so many clothes every day. You don't feel like that's your baby, and you know, and suddenly when it's your own child, that is the actual human thing that you've created yourself. And a couple goes through that. It's a beautiful feeling. Nobody should think twice before, you know, if you have it. And so many people that we see today do struggle to have a child around, so many things around, and you know, all of that. Still today, if you are able to do it, then you're blessed. And if you have a baby girl, then I think you're even more blessed.
I totally agree.
I have 3 sisters. My father always told me, जब पहली हुई वो लक्ष्मी थी, दूसरी हुई वो सुबह लक्ष्मी थी, तीसरी थी तो वो महालक्ष्मी है. So you know, it's always added to his luck. So we see Nurvi the same way as a couple.
Yeah. To be honest, so
No, it was actually amazing to see them.
Yeah.
And I always used to notice one of the remarkable things of about Avnish was that he always sat in the background, very quiet, let her speak, never interrupted. And I find that very amazing. It's a great trait, because you know, you're allowing your wife to speak, and there was never a point where he spoke as if he knew better. And I think that helps a lot. It builds confidence in women. And
yeah, a doctor must remember when we went to see doctor for the first time. Doctor asked Asad, are there any questions? And Asad was like, no questions, doctor, but she's giving me a lot of stress. What do I do with it? Yes. I said, it's okay, it's the only thing you have to deal with. So yeah. Doctor, I was, you know, meaning to ask you, every time I tell my parents or my aunts or the elders of the family that, you know, I have a scan due and stuff like that, they are always like, हमारे पास तो scan होता ही नहीं था, you know, हमारे ज़माने में एक ही scan होता था and stuff. I know medicine has evolved, but can you, you know, kind of give us a background on how this has kind of helped medicine and pregnancy, increasing the number of scans, and with the whole medicine evolving as well?
so it's a combination of things. Like you said, as with other areas of medicine, obstetrics, this field of childbirth has evolved a lot, and there's so much we are able to, look at now and, predict about the child's health. So the ultrasound scans at one point, they were never there.
Yeah.
People managed without ultrasound scans. With the ultrasound scans coming, there's so much more we are able to do in terms of, picking up about the health of the baby, and also other things like the mother's health, the localization of the placenta. If it's a low-lying placenta, we are able to intervene early. So we've reduced the rates of hemorrhage from that. And definitely these scans help very much in letting us know how healthy the baby is going to be. And I know what you're saying, that, previously people managed without ultrasound scans. But if you go back and look at statistics, obviously, the rate of maternal deaths during delivery, the rates of, children being born with problems and or succumbing early because of lack of early intervention were also higher. So, those statistics have also improved. So even if you take scientific evidence, those absolutely essential scans like what we call the nuchal scan, the mid-trimester anomaly scan and growth scan, these are 3 absolutely essential scans that every woman has to go through. And if there is a problem, obviously people have more number of ultrasound scans. So investigative modalities have evolved in all other fields of medicine, and these help us perform better also as doctors.
So Priya, tell us about, the first trimester. Usually in the first trimester, everybody is like, be careful and everything. So tell us a bit about that.
So my first trimester was hard. I had a lot of, you remember me telling you so much vomit, what should I do and all that. But I think her support and her, her warm words and everything made me feel a lot better, and work. I think the best distraction I could, Avnish, was right from the day one. The moment you feel mujhse nahi ho raha hai, get up and come to office. And that's what I used to do. Our house and office are super close by, so I used to do back and forth, and I used to be all the time at work with my little tiffin of snack, and figuring out, okay, let's sit 2 hours, let's make the most of the work I can do, and that's how the first trimester was.
Priya had an active first trimester, but tell us, usually when I was going through my first trimester as well, my parents, the elders in the family, hamesha they were like, dekh ke bete, aaram se rehna, first trimester mein zyada movement nahi karna, and stuff like that. So tell us a little about that. Are these all myths that, first trimester, a pregnant woman must not move at all, or what is it like?
You can be as active as possible. The only, I think, cautionary note that we tell people is that you can be as active as you were prior to pregnancy. Don't introduce anything new, don't try anything new, but taking rest is absolutely not necessary unless there are specific medical conditions. And so since people didn't have that much information in their hand at that point of time, it was just safer for everyone to take rest probably and take it easy. Now that we know, we are able to stratify those who actually require rest and those who don't. And those who don't, it's far better, because once they are active, they are able to do everything, especially when you go to work. I'm sure that keeps you distracted from the smaller problems and makes you feel good, because once you stay at home, there's nothing that you're doing, because pregnancy is not a disease. It's not like you're resting, getting medications or taking IV or nothing like that. So it just makes you bored and mentally unchallenged, and that can be the worst thing, I think. I think that can be the worst thing. If you're occupied, you're mentally occupied, feeling challenged every day, you kind of sail through it.
That's true.
Exactly, doctor. So, when I wanted to travel, I always kept, giving doctor very anxious calls saying, can I travel? Because jo mere around log the, they were like, travel nahi karna, and, be careful and all of that.
I'll pitch in that. We had this travel scare.
Yeah.
So she got pregnant, I think, around October, and it's our anniversary on 1st of December. And I had promised that anniversary we are going to travel to Europe, or I think we made a plan of Paris or something like that at that point of time. We booked everything, and then this whole scare around everyone ki travel nahi kar sakte. You're just 3 months, 4 months into pregnancy, and so much that pressure came in and she was desperate to travel. And that moment, I think the girls are totally crazy, and that is when our patience level comes, and then we apply our brain. Then we thought, chalo kahin paas mein jate hain, that we can fly back and come somewhere within the country. Then I remember, to compensate, we went to Goa, and it was such a careful trip. Such a careful trip. I think even 10 steps, I was so protective. I was never that protective for her. To be frank, I was never during our wedding also. But when she got pregnant, it felt like, I have a fragile all the while with me. While driving, she's a fragile. While traveling, she was a fragile. So it just makes a man like that. I think it's just situationally.
Yeah. Oh my God, I totally agree. Asad, is not the possessive kinds, but jab se I've gotten pregnant, I don't remember walking down a flight of stairs jahan par Asad wasn't holding my hand, or even now he runs saying, nahi, I'll stand in front of you, walk down, kind of a thing. So that's why I keep saying I'm so used to it now. You've pampered me for 9 months now. Suddenly, if you're going to not pamper me, how am I going to, go ahead with the whole thing? Matlab, the pampering has been next level from Asad's side.
My hand was held throughout the pregnancy, every step of the way, every staircase, every lift.
Even
But
now,
you know
when
what?
getting
No
down
phone.
from stairs, Asad will come running saying, nahi, I'll walk samne, kind of a thing. I'm like, wow, matlab, can I continue being pregnant? Matlab? Okay, Priya, tell us, were you reading any books, during your pregnancy?
Yes, so I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but there was this book that my sister-in-law gifted me, and you know what, I read half of the book. Actually it was this thick,
I know those.
all text, no photos, so front and back. So I read the 3/4 of the book, and so apparently all the bigger issues, the Down syndrome and everything, I think comes after your second trimester. Really in the picture, like you do the scans and everything. So I read the book 3/4 of it, and then what, it started giving me a lot of anxiety. It's the information. I felt, this is my personal opinion, it's the information one should not have. That is why they are there, because they've done it, they know it, they nail it every day. So when you read ki acha wo 3rd month ka ek scan hota hai, where they tell you whether your child will have a Down syndrome or no. Now I read that. Now I know tomorrow is my scan. Now I am having a panic attack.
I have not read one of those books, but I have read like books on baby sleep pattern and stuff, and they make it look so easy. It looks like
Obeying.
I have got this.
Practical and theory, 2 different worlds.
I know, but at least right now I'm just telling myself, it's so simple. It's like this, and your baby's sleep pattern is scheduled. I know it's going to be difficult, and I know that, but at least books padke, I feel like, okay, I'm prepared for this. So that's a good thing, I guess. Doctor, I wanted to talk to you about another thing, miscarriages. It's such a myth in our country. I've been through a miscarriage myself, and, every time my parents or, my elders in the family, they would be like, nahi, is baare mein kisi ko nahi batana. But I felt like it's such a loss for a woman, and she needs to talk about it. But in our country, it's considered as such a myth to talk about it. So tell us, why do you think that is, and why do you think, miscarriages are such a taboo? Because, jaise I was talking to people about miscarriages, about me having a miscarriage, I discovered every other woman has been through a miscarriage. So tell us a little about this.
So basically, roughly 10% of all pregnancies end in a miscarriage. So 1 in 10 women have a miscarriage, and some of them need to be investigated, and some of them are chance occurrences which don't recur again. And I think people don't talk about it because, like I said, see, pregnancy is such a happy when people want the outcome to be good. So I think if a woman goes through a miscarriage, it sometimes shatters her confidence.
Of course.
And it seems like a failure. So I think people don't open up and talk about it for that reason. But it's good for the woman also to talk about it.
Exactly. That's what
good
I
for the woman
felt.
also to talk about it. And I think the main reason is this, that there is this sense of failure, and they're also very anxious about planning the next pregnancy, because once they've gone through that,
They
just,
don't know
you
what
know,
to
they don't know
expect.
what to expect.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of reassurance and talking from our part to, you know, tell them that in majority of them it doesn't recur. In majority it doesn't recur. There's a small set of people who may go on and have recurrent miscarriages, and then we have solutions for them also.
So Priya and Avnish, tell me about the funniest things that you've been told about pregnancy.
The funniest that I can remember is, what you eat and what you put in your body decides the, what you say, like the genetics and the look feel of the baby, and I feel that's so wrong. Like the funniest was रसगुल्ला खाओ रोज सुबह उठ के फ्रेश मंगा के and आपका baby will be very fair.
Women also ask me this. Saffron, I think, is the most
Oh
common
God,
thing.
yes.
So they ask, doctor, can we have saffron? And I'm like, it's a good food stuff you can have. So there's no reason for you not to have. And then they'll be like, oh, does it work? Does it really make kids fair? And
Yeah, I totally imagine the saffron thing, because my mom for the past 9 months, she made my sister eat apples, and she makes me eat apples, saying your baby will be Gora.
I remember her favorite line, like when I would, doctor, people are telling me to eat this and that's, like, eat whatever you like in moderate quantities. That was your favorite line to say.
so I always tell them, my mom religiously had saffron in her pregnancy, and look at me. So you know whether it's going to make your child fair or not.
Yes, my mom still doesn't. No, my mother doesn't believe in genes. She believes that the apple made me and my sister fair. I'm like, it must be having something to do with my father's genes or your genes, but no, it's the apple. Okay, doctor, the question we all want to ask you is that, they say 9 months of pregnancy, but pregnancy is 40 weeks. So my father is like, 36 weeks ho gaye, tumhare 9 mahine ho gaye, ab you can deliver anytime. So tell us about that. The pregnancy actually calculates up to 10 months, and everyone is always like, 9 mahine ki pregnancy. So tell us a little about this, doctor.
40 weeks is 9 completed months. You complete 9 months when you finish your 39th week, and then there's one more week, and that becomes the 40th week. So it's far easier to get your head around it when you're talking in weeks.
Yeah.
And months always confuses the issue. Many people do that. They just forget that there is 30 days and 31 days in each month, and not 28.
So doctor, I know you personally have, you are a doctor and everything, but tell us an experience about what it was like for you to go through pregnancy, what kind of anxiety levels you had. Tell us about your pregnancy. I know it's been a while ago, but what was that like?
32 years ago now. So I'm just trying to think. Actually, I was doing my post-graduation in obstetrics and gynecology at that point of time. So I somehow remember my pregnancy as being a breeze. I mean, that's my memory of it. I used to go daily and work in this department where we were delivering babies, and I was training, and I was surrounded by obstetricians and gynecologists. My professor actually delivered me. I went into labor while I was at work.
Wow.
I just went and admitted myself. I remember writing my own case sheet when I got admitted.
Oh, wow.
Primi gravida. I was working in that place. And I had a normal delivery, and through the pregnancy, I really don't remember. I was quite busy at that point of time, and I think that's what keeps it going.
I totally agree.
I remember it as being a very pleasant experience. Like you said, pampered a lot. I was the eldest grandchild in the family. So, among the first of the people to be getting pregnant too. My grandparents were so excited because they were going to become great grandparents. So I remember all those things, how much I was pampered. Mosambi juice humko pilate the. It was like a favorite thing, to give pregnant women. And so this, and also I suppose it also had to do with the fact that day in and day out I was surrounded by medical people who were there for me, and I didn't have that much anxiety, or it was just busy phase. That's how I remember. And
I think that's how I remember my pregnancy. I hope so at least. Okay, and before we end, Avnish, can you give us some advice for dads to be, and your friend Asad? What is the advice you would like to give them, and what do you think is the right thing for a man to be saying to a woman at that point? For example, I tell Asad that I'm getting so irritated with you. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. You are just annoying me. So tell us, like, what's the advice you would give to boys out there who are about to become dads?
I don't want to be very cruel.
be wise.
Yet be wise and talk a word of wisdom rather than being very dishonest. But I think the only thing you require at that moment for the whole 9 months is patience, patience and patience. Because there is a patient and you tend to become impatient. So it's rather have the best rapport between your doctor and your wife. I think they are the best judge. जिसके साथ होता है उसको पता है क्या हो रहा है.
Correct.
और जो उसको ट्रीट कर रहा है उसको पता है व्हाट इज द बेस्ट रेमेडी. आप मिस्टर गूगल बन के उसको और कंफ्यूज ना करें तो बेटर है. जस्ट बी पेशेंट एंड rest I think leave it up to her. They are the best judge of what's happening, and only thing you can be is you can become the best companion if you are seconding what she's thinking. अगर उसको खाना है तो खाना है, उसको उल्टी करना है तो उल्टी करना है, उसको बाहर नहीं जाना है तो नहीं जाना है, उसको उधर जाना है तो जाना है. तो basically you become a yes man for the whole of 9 months, and one should be also, because eventually you're creating a whole new life together, and it's not a joke. It's not happening to your body. I know so many. For me, in probably 5-6 months, I was so, I don't know what happened to me. इसको होना चाहिए वो चीज़ मेरे को हो रही है. Craving for things. I remember the whole of February or January, I was traveling so much to Delhi and North. I kept having gajar ka halwa for whole 1 month. I told you about it. And I don't know what happened to me. I said, वो तेरे को होना चाहिए, मुझे क्यों हो रहा है? I started gaining weight and I'm like, dude, this is not.
No, I'm sure doctor will agree. I'm sure from the time a woman and a husband walk into your office till the delivery time, you must be seeing a difference in the man's weight as well.
होता है. I'm not able to go back to my old posture.
My daughter loves gajar ka halwa.
Yeah. Oh wow.
She's a huge fan. I don't know how that connects, but yeah, that thing is true.
Yeah.
So these kind of things keep happening in parenthood, and eventually when you become a father, like you said, I've read this, I'm ready for the match. You're never ready. It comes as a surprise. It's every day is a new day. Every day is a new surprise.
For the dads, I think you've heard from the best. I won't lie. I mean, I had the best company from Avnish, and like I said, I had a trouble with like so much ups and downs in my
Uncertainty
stomach
as well,
and this and that. So he and her were the most supportive. Like like somebody would tell me, "Hey, you're having a medicine for vomit," and both of them would say, "Just do what your gut feeling says. Just do what your stomach asks you to." Like you would say that okay, if you feel that I'm having too much trouble with my nausea and everything, take a medicine and sort it out. And he would support the same. So for the dads to be just a pillar of support, nothing else.
And have some patience. We are gonna get better.
Lots of patience. And for the mothers, I think just go with the flow and go slow. Like don't slow down your life. But slow down your homework of what to do, how to do and everything, because I think the best learning is from not a book, not from anybody. Best learning is when the God gives you the baby, he puts you on the task, and there is it, newborn, you and just the two of you. So I think the best learning is there when it starts from day one, that is day 0.
Yeah.
But for the mothers, I would just say, like go with the flow.
Yeah. Perfect. Doctor, your last words before we kind of close this thing out.
So, from my personal point of view, although I'm really grateful that you thought so highly of me, I personally feel extremely privileged and humbled that couples allow me to be part of such a special moment in their lives. It's such a joy to be there, to be able to say, hey, here, you have a beautiful baby girl, you have a baby boy, and you're seeing this transformation of a woman into a mother.
Yeah.
You know that when a baby is born, a mother is born.
Yeah.
And to be part of this whole process, and I am so grateful to all the couples who allowed me into their lives at this very, very special phase in their lives. And I was able to make it joyous and safe for them. So I really feel very humbled and privileged. And so I think that's my message to all my colleague obstetricians, that it's a great profession to be in, I think.
Wonderful, doctor. Thank you so much for letting all of us, being a doctor and letting all of us be a part of your journey as well. It literally means I can't wait, inshallah, to have that transformation from, I know you've seen me since with my sister, so for you it's like completely different, but thank you so much all of you for making the time out and doing this for us, and good luck to all of us for what future holds for us. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching another episode, and we'll be back with another one next week. See you.